Welcome back to the Sound for More channel. Today I have the pleasure to introduce you to a new app from Igor Vasiliev called LoopMangler. Before I continue, I would like to remind my viewers to subscribe as it helps with growing the channel. Thank you very much. Okay, LoopMangler, it's a multi-effect glitch sequencer. It's a universal app. It works on your iOS devices, iPhone, iPad. It works on your Mac, including M1 chips. It supports different formats. As you can see, it is hosted currently inside AUM, so AUV3 compliant, but it supports interrupt audio, audio bus, and of course, it works in many hosts, like in this case AUM, but you can try others like Cubase, Logic Pro, etc. The principle behind it is to, as the name says, loop, so it works on samples, but also on audio, which is coming through an input, like in this case, for example, I have an audio channel and I'm using LoopMangler as an insert effect, so I will add in a moment an audio source. But you can also load samples. So here it says load, you click on it and then you can load a sample which is available and it will appear here as a waveform. And you can remove it, of course, if you click here on the more and then input. Or you can import as well samples, right? So you can go into samples here, and then up here you can find import, and you can copy to rename, so you can load them, so you can import it like that, and then find the sample inside your device. And when you finish, of course, you can close it. You have a lot of information here regarding the sample, which are always useful. But if you don't want to use samples and therefore load them, well, you can use an input, like in this case, so audio channel. And why don't we start with a file player? And then inside the file player, we are going to load a drum loop, and we set it as a loop like so. So let's remove it for a second just to listen to what the loop contains. Just a simple loop, which was created with Digistick. And of course, I could have also instantiated Digistick as well. As you can see, traditional interface from Igor Vasiliev in terms of the apps that he produces. So same style in terms of UI that we have seen recently on his apps. At the top, you have a play button, which of course is overridden if you are inside the host, but of course useful when you use it as standalone. Here is where you select preset and you click on it. You have this familiar view of management of preset. This is the list of preset, which of course you also have an init one, which is great to have that. You can have your favorite, delete preset, rename them, move them, create a new one, group, create groups, save, export them, and of course set the one as well that you selected. You can move to the previous one, to the next one, save them, and of course load samples again. But before we continue with the explanation and giving you an overview of how it works, let's listen to what it can do. So let's go to the next preset, click in here, and let's play over that drum sample. You can see here down at the bottom, it was picking is going into red, so you have different options. Of course, you can go here where it says output. On this control, you have these kind of status bar here in which you can move between different areas of the application. Then underneath, you can decide what effects to apply, how to adjust the input and the output. So if you go to the output here, you can, for example, decrease the level. Okay, or for example, you can apply other techniques. I like, for example, to add a soft limiter as well outside, so I don't have to worry it. But again, there is quite flexible enough. You have a limiter here as well, and you can decide the options as well to use it in the way that it responds. Okay, so let's try more presets. Okay, that is how it sounds on top of that simple drum loop. So let's have a look at a little bit more of the controls. So here you can see the waveform, in this case the input, but it could be also a loop, as I mentioned at the beginning of this video. Then in the middle you have a sequencer, you have a number of steps, right, which you can also define how many are available. You click here on pattern, and then down here it says 16 steps, so you can make it longer. And of course, if you make it longer, like 32 steps, you will see you have these patterns which are appearing. So you have the first 16 steps here and the other 16 here. So it's great to have the ability to move between a different group of steps. And then here you have different bars, if you like, and different rows where you can apply different effects. Here you have indications of the step length, the bit length, and the pattern length, which is useful to actually see. You can copy, for example, when you select a cell, you can click on copy, and you can copy a cell, a bar, a row, the entire grid, the pattern. So, and then of course you can paste very quickly, and you can also clear as well, which is great, and move. They're really useful when you create your pattern. There is also a facility or an option to create quite a nice immediate, if you like, pattern, like this pattern randomization, which is great. Let's try it. And of course, that might be an easy way to get started in terms of learning to use LoopMangler. If you don't know or you don't remember the explanation of all of those, there is a fantastic manual inside. Click on More, then select Help. And then inside here, you have all the explanation of how the application works. So, I'm sure you will use the help, because there are a lot of abbreviation. Like in this case, we were on the make button. You have pattern rhythm, pattern fill 1, pattern fill 2, and each one does different things. Like, for example, pattern fill 1 makes a pattern where effect bars are placed exactly on bits and fill the entire bit. So there are a lot of different options. So pay attention to how some of those actually works. So you can zoom in, zoom out, go to the top of the manual, and the help manual. So it's really, really helpful. And of course, click on close to close it. Here you have bit per minute, which you, of course, is redundant from a host perspective, but of course it is extremely useful when you are using it as a standalone application. You have patterns here, and then you have also loop option. As I mentioned earlier, you can load a loop. So, and then if you load a loop, you can change the pitch. You can have the fade in, fade out, and crossfade. You can bypass it, mute it. You can align it, etc. You have so many different options. But the great thing as well is you can load a loop like so, and then you can decide also which part of the loop to play, which is really, really great. So So I find these really, really useful. You can select exactly which part of the loop that you want to actually be played. But of course, you can also, as I said, change the pitch, the fade in, fade out, and crossfade. So in this case, you can hear really the effect of the crossfade, particularly that part which is overlapping. Now, in terms of the control, you can double click to set them back to default and let re-enable or disable bypass. Now, let's go to more and select input again. So we have again that drum loop which is being played by the file player. Okay, perfect. Let's go also to the top and select init and set that. Okay, so let's see a little bit how it works. So you could say on this cell here, and by the way, on pattern, I'm going to leave it to be 16 steps, but of course you can change that to, as we said, to 32, 48, 64 steps. You can also change the signature there, which is actually great. You can also have it being driven by gate. So when gate is active on the first row or not. And here is the setting, of course, for your delays, which can be long, short, medium, longer, random, etc. And also some option here in terms of rule, how patterns are generated, which are fully documented in the menu. But anyway, let's go and select that cell there. Let's click where it says here, effect. And the moment it says empty, click on empty, and let's choose gate. Now what happens is you have additional options, right? So you have now occurrence, you can mute it, the number of steps that will be applied for, like so. You can see that this bar is moving, is enlarging. So I can say apply that for 4 steps, like so. You can adjust the center of the envelope here in terms of modulating, right? And you can also change the waveform as well, which is really useful. And then here you can change parameters for the effect, which will change as parameters based on the effect that you have selected. Now, I really like the fact that you can click copy, select cell, then come here and say paste, and then continue like so. And you can create a nice, or you can apply the same effect in this case 4 times for this pattern. In terms of application, it depends really very much on the sample what happens, right? So because at the moment I'm gating it only here, like so. That is why you don't hear too much. But let me show you now as we progress. Let's go, for example, here on this cell here, and we choose another effect like a glitch effect. As you can see, different option here. You can have different modes. You have a low pass filter, parameters like threshold, but you still have number of steps, envelope, and the envelope form. Now you have this option here which says linked. In this case, is if you change the number of step, is ignoring that, but you can click where it says linked and unlink it. As you can see, the horizontal bar at the top appears that covers only the step, and now you can change how many steps is covered, like in this case 2. Now let's duplicate that again, like so. Paste here, paste, and then paste here again. Let's click play. If the volume is too low, you can go to the output here and you can change the level. You can also act on the exciter. You can enhance the bases. You can act on EQ gain and change the frequency as well. And also depend here, you can go for narrow and wide. Okay, let's continue with applying more effects. So let me show you. We click here, we go to the effect, and now let's choose, for example, delay, right? And unlink it and set the duration like so, 8 different steps. Now, pay attention. If I click play, you don't hear that delay being played, right? You don't hear it. Go to pattern where it says here D1 for delay 1, which is down here. Select there, and then change the duration of the delay. Let's say we go for long. So that is how simple it is, really. And let me show you also the Getty effect. So quite different in terms of application of the effect. But let's continue the journey. So let's go here on this cell and let's click on effects, and let's say that we apply some noise. Now again, let's unlink it like so, and we leave that white. Now we copy that as a cell, and we are going to replicate it perhaps, why not here, paste, and here. Okay, let's click play. And you can change, for example, the type of noise. Click on it, and then you go here where it says white, and click on it. And let's say we have that one pink, and this one we have it, for example, blue. Sounds really great, right? And let's keep going. So we go here and we just click on empty, and this time, for example, we're going to have a stutter. But you can see how many different options you have. You have pulse, you have a decimator, you have a filter, a comp, slow, and another delay, etc. So a lot of different options. Let's go for stutter, and we unlink it, and we go for choose step like so, and we copy that as a cell, and then we place it here. Why not paste? Let's click play. Let's change the duration here to actually medium. So you can see here I acted on the EQ gain, and I changed a little bit the frequency so that I could hear a little bit more the stutter, right? So let's go here now. Let's add another effect, like for example a comp, right? We unlink it as well. We change the number of step like so, right? And here you can change the mode as well. So try different modes. So as you can see, really, really simple. Remember, you can also change the number of occurrences, so when they're actually played in terms, so which is great. Input here, you can also change the level, bass, trebles. You can do a bit of EQ there, and also add saturation. And you have option here for stereo, mono, left and right channel. You also have auto gain as well, which is great. And we have seen auto gain as well in other applications from Igor. Okay, so yeah, and that's essentially how it works in a nutshell. Now let's perhaps load a different type of audio source. I find it working extremely well with rhythm samples with rhythm, but it works also with other type of audio source. So let's go for something like piano tech, like so. Let's create a simple MIDI channel, like so. We load Polybud, and we connect the two, like so, nice and simple. And then we just change the rate to half there. We remove the number of steps. We just leave only one. We go to the gate here. We leave that to only one and change the gate to maximum. Let's click play. Why not? Let's add a decimator here. So we go here on this cell, click effect, empty, and then go to decimator here. Nice, and let's change the parameters as we play. And of course, I find it really great when you're using in combination with, for example, Stellavox from, of course, Igor Vasiliev. Really great multi-effect. Really sound amazing. Makes everything more magic, right? So. Okay, and let's change some of the presets now. Sounds quite different. Now let's test it with our LoopMangler and also with our Stellavox. Okay, I'm going to stop here. I hope you enjoyed the introduction to LoopMangler. It's a great effect to change your sample or your audio input. Another great application from Igor Vasiliev. See you next time. Bye.